I'm not going to make objections over it. I mean, is there any guy living on Earth who wouldn't have a crush on Aika?
That I don't know, but Sajo, you also still...
The only one who decides is Aika.
Imagine you spend years chasing someone. They reject you over and over and over again. So eventually, you decide to respect their wishes. You stop bothering them. You move on. And somehow everyone acts like you're the problem. That's the strange situation the dreaming boy is a realist wants us to root for. The series tries to create a classic, I don't actually hate you, tsundere romance, but it struggles almost everywhere. The characters are frustrating, the romance feels unearned, and the relationship we're supposed to root for never feels worth saving. If you haven't seen the show, here's a basic premise. The show follows Sajo, a timid high school student who falls for Aika after she helps him out one day. From then on, he spends years chasing her. He follows her around, confesses constantly, and refuses to give up despite being rejected again and again. Then one day he finally realizes how unhealthy his behavior has become, and he decides to leave her alone. Sounds like character growth, right? Well, according to almost everyone in this anime, it's somehow the wrong choice. Now, I don't think Sajo was a good love interest at the start either. He ignored Aika's rejection, bothered her constantly, and built an obsession around someone he barely knew. His feelings weren't really love, they were idealization. He even chooses his high school because of her. So yes, early on, Sajo was wrong. But that's exactly why moving on should have been the beginning of his growth, not something the show treats like a mistake. And to understand why, we need to look at how Sajo viewed Aika throughout the series.
This angel is Aika Natsukawa. To me, she is the definition of perfection. Well, Aika is a goddess from heaven. Aika Natsukawa is the queen of humankind. She is hope, a goddess. Thus, I have decided that I will be Aika's support person. Oh, Aika's in her summer scanty.
Hey, Aika.
A fine frolic of fairies.
You're so creepy!
If I interact with her like before, then I might destroy her newfound approachability.
But that's not...
Ultimately, me keeping my distance will be good for Aika.
I'm not too sure about that.
Plus, if I'm too close, I won't be able to see all the curvy lines of her uniform.
You should be arrested!
She's so great, I just want to hug her forever.
Your creepiness is leaking out. And don't try it, Huggy Boy. Oh, never mind!
Hey, wait! Aika, stop! Well, what do you know? Even cute when she's mad.
All of these clips happened in the first 3 episodes of the show. And trust me, it only gets worse. Throughout the series, Sajo doesn't really see Aika as a normal person. He constantly calls her a goddess, someone perfect and unreachable. He puts her so high above himself that she becomes more of an idea than a person. Yet the show treats this obsession like it's romantic. Personally, I don't think Sajo was ever truly in love with Aika. He was in love with the version of her he created in his head. She showed him kindness once, and that moment turned into years of obsession. This is shown further when in high school, Sajo is already known as the guy who's always chasing Aika. He's bothered her so much that even he believes he might be the reason she doesn't have any other friends. The strange part is that everyone around him treats this behavior like it's funny, instead of something unhealthy. But what happens when Sajo finally stops? The show doesn't reward his growth. It punishes him for it. His sister questions why he's given up. Other characters act like he's wasted years of his life, almost like they're encouraging him to keep trying. Just one more confession, just one more chance. Maybe this time she'll say yes. That's the mindset this series keeps pushing. But think about it. If your entire school knows you as the person who's constantly chasing someone, and the moment you stop, everyone notices, maybe stopping was the right decision. Instead, his classmates, teachers, and family all act shocked that he's finally respecting Aika's boundaries, and I don't understand why.
Take your seats, please. Wow, you all right, Sajo? It's unusual for you to be calmly settled and in your seat.
Is that so?
You would normally be fawning all over Aika, making a fool of yourself right about now.
Oh, yeah.
But you do like her. Aika, right?
You know too?
There's no one in school who doesn't know.
Yeah, right.
Why is moving on treated like a bad thing? These characters should be encouraging him to grow and become his own person. Instead, they want the unhealthy dynamic to return because it's what they're used to. The biggest example of this isn't even Sajo's friends. It's Aika herself. I'm going to jump ahead to the final episode because I think it perfectly represents their entire relationship.
Why? Why don't you ever bother me anymore?
What?
And this is where the show completely loses me. Near the end, after Sajo has finally stopped chasing Aika, she asks him one simple question. Why don't you bother me anymore? That isn't a confession. That isn't love. That's someone wondering why the attention they were used to suddenly disappeared. There's a major difference. If Aika truly loves Sajo, the series had 12 episodes to show that. Instead, most of her development begins only after he stops giving her constant attention. That doesn't feel like someone realizing they love a person. It feels like someone realizing they miss being important to someone. And that's because the show misunderstands what makes a good tsundere work. A good tsundere isn't just someone who secretly likes the main character. It's someone who genuinely cares and struggles to express it. The audience can still see the affection through their actions. They worry about them, support them, get jealous, or show that they care, even when they deny it. With Aika, I never got that feeling. She rarely starts conversations with Sajo, she rarely shows affection. She gives him almost no reason to believe that she likes him until he stops chasing her. The show tells us she likes him. It rarely shows us. Most of what we see is Aika getting upset, pouting, calling him an idiot, or becoming emotional whenever he starts pulling away. That isn't enough to sell a romance. It makes it feel less like she's afraid of losing Sajo and more like she's afraid of losing the attention Sajo gave her. In fact, Aika almost never says anything genuinely positive about Sajo, not out loud, not internally, and not even when talking to her friends. I can think of 2 times that she genuinely said something nice about him. For a romance that's supposed to convince us these two belong together, that's not enough. If the audience is supposed to believe Aika secretly loved Sajo all along, the story needs to show that. We should have seen her thinking about him, worrying about him, or admitting to herself that she cared. Now, I'm not saying Aika was never kind to Sajo, but if she loved him so much, why did she never accept his feelings? This show makes it seem like she only started noticing him after he stops chasing her. She only values him once the attention disappears. And I don't think the argument that she secretly liked him from the beginning works either. In Aika's own flashbacks, she explained that she wasn't trying to make friends in middle school. She wanted to focus on studying and getting into the high school she wanted. She also admits that she approached Sajo because she saw herself in him. She helped him because she understood him, not because she already had romantic feelings. She even says that without Sajo bothering her, she probably still would have had very few friends. So why is her biggest emotional moment, "Why don't you bother me anymore?" Why not, "I miss you. I wish we were closer. I think I like you." Instead, the story chooses the one line that makes it sound like she misses the attention more than the person. Ironically, the episodes where Aika barely appears were some of my favorites. Episode 8 and 9 follows Sajo as he gets a part-time job at a bookstore. There he meets Mina, a quiet girl who struggles to communicate with others. Over time, they become friends, and Sajo helps her become more confident. It's one of the only relationships in the series that feels natural. They talk, they support each other, they help each other grow. Their bond develops through mutual respect instead of one person endlessly chasing the other. I honestly wish the show had focused more on Mina. Seeing her return to school with her new confidence and build relationships with others would have been meaningful growth for her. Instead, the show immediately returns to pushing Sajo and Aika together. And that's frustrating because Mina proves the writer understood how to create a healthy relationship. They just didn't choose to for the main romance. Personally, I think the strongest ending would have been Sajo moving on completely. His story should have been about him realizing that obsession isn't love. His worth shouldn't depend on whether Aika returns his feelings or not. At the same time, Aika needed to learn that caring about someone requires communication. If Sajo's behavior truly bothered her, she should have told the teacher, instead of silently allowing the situation to continue for years. I do understand that she constantly told him to stop, but if someone repeatedly bothers you, getting a higher power involved would have been a better move. Both characters had lessons to learn. Instead, the show confuses attention for love. It confuses silence for communication. It treats moving on like a tragedy instead of something healthy. A better story would have shown Sajo realizing that someone who truly cared about him would appreciate him instead of rejecting him repeatedly. And it would have shown Aika realizing too late that she lost someone who genuinely cared. This anime accidentally teaches one of the best lessons about relationships. If someone only notices you after you've moved on, they don't love you. They just love being loved.